I will share with you the most important things, in my opinion, that should be known about color and color harmonies in silk painting. You probably remember from your school days the color wheel and know that there are three primary colors: yellow, blue and red, mixing which you can get all other colors. Let's try to start with that. But I warn you right away that in silk painting you need to take into account some peculiarities, but about them a little later. So I take yellow and immediately prepare it for mixing to get secondary colors. My yellow is quite warm. I'll tell you what that means later, but now I take the red and mix it with the yellow to get the orange, and I take blue and mixing it with red I get purple, and I must say not the purest and most beautiful color. And mixing it with the yellow I get green, but alas, not the best version of it either. What if I change the red to magenta and the blue to cyan? This is my favorite version of red for silk painting, magenta, which I always call crimson. In fact, in preparation for this video, I went through a bunch of material on the internet and studied a lot of color wheels, but the most popular ones are yellow, red, blue and cyan, magenta, yellow. For better results in some areas, the classic color wheel is used more often, but the cyan, magenta, yellow wheel is used for mixing pigments and dyes. I didn't know this before, but if you remember, for silk painting I always suggest using a cool version of red, that is crimson or magenta, and instead of blue use cyan, which is much brighter. I was happy to learn that intuitively I've always used the best version of the primary colors, which is the right color wheel for silk painting. See how winningly different our second wheel is from the first one. We'll move on. Color has several characteristics. Let's start with value. You can make a color lighter by diluting it with water, or you can make it darker by adding black to it. Ideally, it should be like this, and in digital design it certainly is. But when you paint silk, the color not only gets darker, but it loses its purity and becomes a bit dirtier. I always try to avoid black to achieve a darker shade by add some close but darker color. And color also has such a characteristic like temperature. In general, colors are divided into cool colors, those that are closer to blue, and warm, closer to yellow. But each individual color can be both warm and cool. If a yellow color is added to magenta, it will approach first to red, then to orange, and it goes to warmer. And if you add blue color, then respectively it will go to purple shades and cooler ones. I also wanted to show that when you mix yellow and black, you get a greenish color. In my version, it's not so pronounced, but if my yellow and black were cooler, the green color would be more apparent, but I got a fairly neutral color. And now it's time to get down to how best to combine colors, to color harmonies. The most obvious and easiest range is monochromatic. This is when we use different lightness of the same color. And let me show you an example of yellow. I take the pure color from the jar and dilute it with water, and in some places, to make accents, I reintroduce the intense color from the jar. In general, for monochromatic scales, it's probably better to use a dark color. Then there are more opportunities for contrast. Next, we have complementary color harmony. That means that the colors are opposite each other in the color wheel. I might start with green and red. I take a warm enough dark red. And a warm enough dark green. And I get a converged organic dark deep gamut. And by the way, mixing green and red usually results in brown. And one more thing, if you feel that your color is too expressive and you want to mute it, you can add some complementary color to it. You see where they are mixed, both red is muted and green. And there are a million variations of how to combine red and green colors. For instance, you can take a cool red, in some places diluted with water, and green to take warm, and take it even more into the warm. And then add dark green accents. Here's one variation of that gamut, and I will leave links to all the videos below. Another type of color harmony is analog. This is when you use colors that are next to each other in a color wheel. For example, some purple, bluish, pinkish colors. And you can make them very light and close in tone. Or you can add a more saturated color for accents. Here's a similar color scheme. Maybe you've seen me paint this peony before. A very good gamut is when you use complementary and neutral colors. Neutrals are said to be white, black and gray, but I think it's a bit more complicated than that. If you are interested, let me know and I can go into more detail about it. I take a very saturated blue, a very bright orange. They create a very dynamic impression and kind of argue with each other. You can neutralize this conflict a little bit with gray, and deep black can be used to shift the accents from this drama. Black takes our attention to itself. And as a result, the image turned out to be integrated, though dramatic. In fact, you can talk about color and color harmonies endlessly. In this video, I've given the very basics. If you are interested, let me know, I can continue this topic. And I'll see you soon!